Right, so here's the background that I've been using for these past couple of days, and I decided to go ahead and kind of take the time to walk everyone through what they're looking at here, the things that I've specifically set up for my October reviews. And by the way, right before I started filming this, when I pushed the button to have it on the back facing camera, it actually made a noise, and the picture was all staticky and blurry at first. That was kind of weird. So to start off with, there's this alien snow globe here, which I've kind of singled out in the past as an item which is going to remain a permanent part of my background in these reviews unless it gets broken or something. And I said that I actually have kind of an emotional attachment to this thing, and that's because it's kind of memorabilia from one of the best days of my life, which was when I got to be the best man at the wedding of my two best friends in the world, Nicholas and Samantha. So I just kind of felt like it would be necessary to have it on display for the world to see whenever I'm doing one of my movie reviews or discussions on this channel. And then, yeah, there's this little spider ring here, which is kind of a kid's item. I just found that when I was walking through the woods one day and said, hey, I want that. Not much of a story there. There's actually not quite as much of an in-depth story behind most of the items that you're going to see in this video. There's Mephistopheles from the Puppet Master movies. Most of these small figurines here were bought in sets at the Dollar Tree. There's also a couple of these little zombie figures that I got from quarter machines. And yep, I'm a 24-year-old man. I'm still buying shit from quarter machines. I have no shame in it. There's, of course, Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses. There's this sort of clown ringmaster that I found at a flea market a few years ago. He's usually there when I'm recording my videos, but you can't really see him because he's in between these two stacks of DVDs that I normally have sitting there, and he's standing by the Devil's Carnival DVD, which, you know, is for obvious reasons. And then there's like the complete series of Psychoville, which is one of my favorite horror series of all time. It was, of course, as you can see from that, produced by the BBC, and I could only get this DVD in Region 2, and I got a flea. I got a region-free Blu-ray player so that I'd be able to watch stuff like this. It's kind of bullshit how much they uh, don't make available for purchase in America. And then up here, you can see this gargoyle statue, which isn't even really visible in the reviews. He was just kind of placed there to fill up space since there was kind of that gap in that little area. And then there's more figurines, a couple, like at least one more zombie figure that I can see. That little Grim Reaper there, I actually got at my second cousin's birthday party. She was turning 50, and the theme of the party was basically death. Like, well, you're getting up there in years, you're gonna die soon, yay! And I asked her if I could have that little figurine and everything. I didn't steal it. And then, yeah, a little ghost guy that I got at a flea market for like 50 cents, or probably even less than that. There's, of course, Radu from Subspecies, which I've pointed out a couple of times. A pop figure of Hannibal as a Wendigo from Hannibal, the TV series. Another item I've pointed out before, the Angel of Death from Hellboy, which is in my general reviews as well lately, but when I decided to decorate this stuff for Halloween, I figured I should just go ahead and keep her there. And then, a figure of Rob Zombie, which just looks awesome. And then up here we've got this little clown figure, which doesn't necessarily look like a Halloween figure, and even if he wasn't, he still looks freaky as shit. kind of in a subtle way, but I did get him from a Halloween store. He's made of rubber, and it used to be where I'd be able to squeeze his belly and he'd laugh, and he doesn't seem to work anymore, but of course he still looks freaky as shit, so I had to bring him out for this series. And then there's this little death thing right here, another item I got from a quarter machine. There's the complete series of Death Note, one of my favorite anime shows of all time, and it's also a horror story, which is why I brought that out to be part of my background for this. And then there's this other clown guy, which was in the background for my reviews for a little while, and then when I decided to just give it a general movie theme, I decided to move him somewhere else. And for a while, he was actually being used as my profile picture for my YouTube channel. I don't know how many of you recognize that period of time. Then over here, we've got a Halloween decoration of the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. If you put batteries in him and turn him on, he like shakes and the little bulbs up there light up and everything. This is actually one of the oldest items I have in my room. And then there's my figure of Predator, which is usually in the background of my general movie reviews, which was why I just kind of moved him back here to where he's barely going to be seen, since he's usually in my videos anyway. I wanted to bring more attention to the other stuff, the other horror themed stuff that I own. And then finally up here we've got more of those little Dollar Tree figurines. We've also got the pop figure of Predator. I've mentioned in the past that's one of my all-time favorite movies. Hannibal Lecter. I remember when I first started going to Spencer's and I saw this collection of their bad taste bears. This was like the one that I wanted to get, but I didn't really have money for it at the time. And then they started coming out with different series of bears that they were showcasing, but then I was lucky enough to actually find this in the clearance section, so yay for me. And then there's also a pop figure of Alien. I couldn't get Predator without getting this, and of course the first two Aliens are great movies. I even kind of enjoyed Prometheus a bit. One of my favorite horror icons of all time, Pinhead, of course. It almost looks like there's a group photo being taken with the Pumpkin King, Pinhead, and Caesar. And yeah, that's Caesar from the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, as well as this victim of his. Of course, Nightmare Before Christmas is another one of my all-time favorite movies. And then there's another clown guy, a lot like the other little one that I introduced you to. This one can still laugh. And it sounds a lot more terrifying. And then another clown. I actually put this together myself. You know, the eyeballs and the nose came from the Dollar Tree. I got the wig from Walmart. The hat came from a Halloween store. This spider thing came from, I think it was the Christmas tree shop. I thought that they sold nothing but Christmas shit all year round, but I was wrong. And the blood isn't even fake Halloween blood. It's actually red ink. I thought that would, for one thing, it was a lot cheaper to obtain, and I just thought it would give it a better aesthetic. And you also probably noticed that this thing was wearing a phantom mask in my comparison for Phantom of the Opera. I'm gonna do a couple of things where I switch up the mask throughout the month. It's not gonna happen every day, of course, because I don't really have a huge mask collection or anything, but anyway, that's really the story behind all of the stuff that you've seen in my background these past few days, and that you will continue to see throughout the month. Just thought I'd give you an idea of what they're all about and everything, and yeah, just kind of something to do while I was bored. I hope y'all have a good one.